Hi guys, welcome to XtraTalk. We have Papimento with us today. We have Sahbi with us today. Hi guys.
Welcome, man.
What's up?
All right. So guys, today we have a podcast, a special one actually, because for the first time, we asked yesterday a couple of followers, you guys have some topics you want us to discuss this week. And luckily for us, they came up with a lot of questions. So we picked a couple of questions today. We're going to have a discussion. I also want to ask our viewers, please let us know what you think of these topics. We want to know your opinion as well. And let's start. But before I do, just also for you guys, please don't make me talk a lot today. I caught a cold last night, so I'm still a little bit, under the weather. So be nice, be gentle, and let's start. So guys, the first question I have is from Gary McQueen. Gary, thanks for the question. It's actually for you, Sahbi. So how much did you enjoy those VIP tickets last Saturday when you saw the Ajax neck game?
Well, by the way, wasn't it a question for Casper instead of Gary?
Oh, I'm sorry. It was Casper, indeed.
Yeah,
you're right
indeed.
about that. You're right.
Yeah. So no, man, it was so great. I lived like a king, man. It was so intense. Such great seats, luxury seats, free food, free drinks, and we had a lot of well-known people, like the Dutch famous people, sitting around. I had a very small talk with Mark Overmars. So I saw Joakim, Mr. Ajax, gave a box to Edwin. So yeah, I mean, it was, and of course the 5-0 victory. That was the dessert.
Yeah, exactly. That was like the perfect night, right?
Exactly, man. I really loved it. I really can get used to it.
Yeah. So because you showed us some pictures, of course, on Twitter, and you were sitting pretty close to even the players, the bench players.
Yeah.
Do you like feel the intensity more when you sit there compared to other places in the stadium?
Yes and no. I mean, you sit quite close to the bench and also close to the board, and you could feel a bit of tension. But on the other hand, the fans who sat all beside me, they were all like a bit quiet. They're really watching the game and not really like as a fan screaming and shouting. So they were a little bit surprised when I started to scream at players, or when I really cheered for our club. And yeah, they were a bit surprised. So that's the only difference. But yeah, I mean, still lovely, man, lovely that day.
So a question also that I have now: does it mean that now, because you're a VIP, we should ask for your autograph as well?
You can always ask. You can always ask.
All right. So guys, let's move on. First
Juan,
question.
can I just ask something? Did you see anyone that we talk with on weTalk or on Twitter or?
No, unfortunately not. I mean, I did take a look to see whether I knew somebody, but unfortunately, no. So
too bad. Next time, maybe.
Next time, definitely.
Okay, guys. Next question that we had. So the first question we're going to discuss, both of you. This one is from Gary. I'm sorry. So the first one was from Casper. This one is from Gary. Should we be worried about PSV this season? I will ask Papimento to go first.
Yes, of course we should be worried. They have a decent team. They're in form now. They've been playing pretty okay. Are they better than Ajax? No, I don't think so. But they're equal to Ajax, and they can hurt us just because of their playing style. It's very counter-oriented, and Ajax is always a possession-based team. So yeah, it suits them to play against us. But I think we have enough quality to still win the league. It just means that we have to have a good season and don't mess around with losing against lower teams, like the games against Feyenoord, AZ. Those are going to be critical. I think if you lose your points there, PSV can have a chance.
All right. How do you see it, Sahbi?
Well, of course, as Papimento said, we should be a bit more worried in comparison with last year. But am I really worried? Not really. I mean, of course, we lost against PSV, but I think it's still a one-off. If you look at how they prepared, if you look at the players at PSV, how many players of them did play the European Cup or had the Copa America or the US Cup? I mean, we got Gakpo, who was with the Netherlands, but if you look at the back line, none of those players were they were free, so they were fit. They had a lot of games. They played a lot of games during preparation. Of course, you can lose such a match. I mean, the fitness of such players then is good. It's way better than Ajax, and we know Ajax. We are a diesel. We always start a bit slow, but at the end, after the winter break, we win every game. So no, I'm not worried at all. They will do good. They can do very good, but nah, not worried at all.
So honest question from my side. Sorry, Papimento, you wanted to react?
Yeah, I just want to say the NSA game didn't like really weigh very hard on my perception of Ajax or PSV.
No.
I just think that Goetze and Madueke are excellent players, and they are in form. And if they can keep this up, they have a decent team and a competitive team for Ajax. And so you should be worried, because if you think about it, last year, PSV really underperformed, in my opinion. And Ajax had an easy season. I don't think that will be an easy season this season for Ajax. And they should really watch out, you know?
Yeah, but I still think that our bench is way better quality-wise. If you look at Van Ginkel, he is the captain now of PSV. I can put all my money on a table to say that he will get injured somewhere this season, and it won't be a week. It will be for several weeks. And I really want to see, once he is injured, how PSV will perform. Or when Madueke is injured, how he will perform. I mean, we had the whole season preparation without Nico, without Alvarez, without Anthony. I mean, once they are fully back, I think we can see magic. And for PSV, this is already their top. I mean, they can do better.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you're right. I mean, if you look at that, you know, the Gold Cup, Olympics, Copa America, we lost. The preseason didn't go for us the way we wanted to go.
No,
we
exactly.
missed some players, and we weren't all fit. You know, we had 4 different preseason steps that we had to go through with different players. But look, in top form, both teams, I think Ajax still comes on top. Maybe because I love Ajax, but
without a doubt,
they have enough quality to beat this PSV side. Even though the most important pundit here, ex-coach, said that PSV could win from Paris Saint-Germain.
Important.
If that's the case, Ajax can win from Paris Saint-Germain as well, you know?
All right. So, guys, one question, and also another take about the PSV that we're talking about, and then we move on to the next subject or topic. If you look at the starting 11 from both teams, right? Objectively, if you try to look at it objectively, and you look at PSV and you look at Ajax. Sahbi, you mentioned the back line. I agree with you. I think defensively, Ajax is further. I think also you guys mentioned, the bench. If you look at the bench, we have quality players on our bench, which is a higher quality compared to PSV. But looking at the attacking players, so looking at because PSV
which bench players are we talking about? I hope you're not thinking about Ekkelenkamp, Labiat, and Magayan, but okay, continue.
No.
We got a big squad. We got a big squad, Papi.
Okay.
Don't worry.
We have Kudus that can rotate with Klaassen. We have Blind that can rotate with Tagliafico, with Alvarez, with Martinez, how you want to see it. It doesn't matter. So we have quality players again that PSV doesn't have, which would play in any other team.
Anthony. Don't forget Anthony.
Anthony, Berghuis, that's also, something that we have to see. So I was referring more to that, not the players that you mentioned. But coming back to my point, if you look at the attackers, because PSV is playing compared to last season, they're playing a little bit different. They're playing with 3 strikers up front. And they have also a number 10, which is Goetze. So take the number 10 and put the 3 players that they play up front, which is Madueke, Zahavi, and Gakpo. Who has the better attacking line? Yeah, you guys are quiet.
Oh, well, I think we do. We do.
Honestly?
Honestly, of course. I mean, if you look at the total package, we got Anthony, we got Berghuis. Quality-wise, they do very well. They got Madueke at their side, who is in top form. So I will have to see, for such a young talent, to see how long he can progress in this top form, because normally you have a decrease at certain time. So I'll just have to see that. Götze, okay, I think he only outperforms when he plays against lesser clubs. Against top clubs, I don't see him a lot, even though he scored. But yeah, I mean, it was the game against Ajax. Can always happen. Yeah, Haller and Zahavi, you can compare them both at the same level. I mean, I'm not really fond of Haller at this moment. Zahavi, not at all. So yeah, you could. No, I mean, Ajax is way better.
Sahbi, look, I will give Papimento his opinion in a moment, but look at the mobility of PSV compared to us. You're talking about Haller versus Zahavi, and of course, both have shortcomings, both have strength. I understand that, but
the only difference is speed. No, sorry that I interrupt. The only difference that PSV has is speed
and depth
up front
in their play,
and depth, and that's how they play. They play counter attack. So if you want to play counter football, you need depth and you need speed. So that's why they're performing quite well against the certain teams. And that's where we lack. And that's why we, as all Ajax fans, really urging Mark to come up with a decent striker or left winger that has depth, that has speed, because that's definitely a player that we need.
Papimento.
Yeah. Look, I think Madueke is amazing. So I think he's a top level player. And if I compare it to Anthony, there's not much difference. If I compare him to Berghuis, I think Madueke wins. The number 10, I think Götze has that. Tadic wins it. And yeah, I think Zahavi is more functional than Haller, to be honest, as of what I've seen so far from Haller. I don't know if he's going to make some steps and get better, but just the link up play with Zahavi, I think he does it better than Haller. And Haller showed himself to be more of a pinch hitter lately. And in the build up, he's not really involved. Even in the air, I feel like he's not really like where you want him to be with such a physique, So yeah, I'm gonna say it's 50-50. Tadic, yes. I think Anthony and Madueke are equal to each other, and I see Anthony as the starting player. You could also think of it as Anthony and Berghuis on the wings and Tadic number 9. In that case, I would say Ajax wins it, but I just don't know how stubborn Ten Hag is, going forward.
And how about the Götze, Klaassen, Kudus comparison?
Well, Kudus has to be fit first before I start judging him. Potential-wise, Kudus is great, but I want to see him now compete. I want to see him going competitively for his spot in the team, not get injured, and yeah, he should be winning it from Klaassen and getting that spot. But in potential, they still didn't show it. Yeah. And his preseason was amazing from Kudus. So we all saw that, and I hope he gets back because we really need him. He's that X factor that can bring us somewhere,
Yeah, exactly. Sahbi, you agree with Papimento?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Kudus needs to show it. Yeah, I won't say it's a do or die, but he needs to show it. He got potential. He can be one of the best players in the squad if he's fully fit and in form.
Yeah.
So in that way, of course, he's way better than Klaassen. But Klaassen at this moment is more efficient. He's fit. He can play game after game. So yeah, now Klaassen deserves it. But Kudus, if he push a bit more and with a bit of luck, he can do a lot of good for Ajax this season.
Yeah. Just one more thing about the PSV Ajax comparison, which is more related to the coaching. We know from Schmidt, the coach of PSV, that he likes to rotate a lot. And we know from Ten Hag, he started doing a bit of rotation last year, but usually he doesn't like rotating that much if it's not necessary, because he believes that when you have the same team playing over and over again, then the chemistry goes up and we started playing even better football. So which of these two philosophies you think has an edge at the end?
Can I go first? Yeah, I will say that we always had a lot of injuries during December months. So I would say rotating is maybe better to keep everybody fit and happy and focused. But I mean, Ajax has played, like, if we look at the game against Lille last year, it was such an amazing game. So I do believe that there is something to say for both. I would rather have more rotation to keep everybody fit, though, because we've seen with Ajax that in the crucial months where we have this year a lot of important matches, you don't want those kind of injuries for your top players. So I hope he rotates more. It gives also Kudus and Berghuis or Anthony or Blind or Martinez options to play more games. So not everybody is playing the same game every time.
Yeah. Sahbi, you
Yeah.
agree?
Yeah, I agree with him, but the only condition should be that he shouldn't rotate a lot of players at once. So rotate one or two players. In that way, you can keep the chemistry, you can keep players happy, and that way you can avoid injuries and move on to the being fit the whole season. So not a lot of changes, because Schmidt did change a lot in last game, but probably he thought we can win this game easily and we need to focus on the Champions League game against Benfica. Probably that was his mindset. But yeah, Ten Hag shouldn't rotate a lot, but he should rotate, because quality-wise, we have certain players on the bench that could be starters. I mean, we should not forget that. We need to keep them happy. We need to keep them fit.
Yeah.
We need to get the match fitness. So yeah, let's get them rotating.
All right, so we're moving on to the next topics. The first topic that's up is Nico and John. Thank you guys for the questions, which has to do with Blind Tagliafico discussion. It actually emerged after the Ajax PSV game. We all know Tagliafico got a red card, got suspended, and now last time in the NEC game, Blind was put as a left back, and he played good. You know, he played. We know that Blind can play in multiple positions. The left back positions, he knows how to do it. He did it well. And I know that it was only NEC, but the discussion now is like, listen, should Blind not more be focused on that position? You know, because two things. First of all, it seems like Alvarez is an important anchor on that holding midfield position next to Gravenberch, which is he's our superstar, basically, upcoming youth player. And second of all, this is a little bit the other way around. We remember that Blind last year, he was also like placed in different positions. And once in an interview, he said that I would rather play one position. I don't like being rotated that much. I mean, I would do it for the team, but it's not good for a player to be rotated that much, because you can't really get into rhythm in one position, you know? So how should we deal with this? What do you guys think? Papimento, you go first with this one.
You know, Juan, this is very hard because I love Blind. I'm kind of a fan of his passing and stuff, and he's very important for us just to get the ball up front, you know, breaking down lines. And but I do think, you know, if you go into Champions League and like you play against a PSV with a Mariweke that is very fast, he's a liability in his defending. So yeah, I think you could say there are certain teams you just can't play Blind on that left side, and it would be Tagliafico that you need to play. But you also stated that Ten Hag likes to have a solid base and work from there to get a team chemistry. So are you going to rotate in important matches the guy that's on the bench because it suits the style more? I don't know. I mean, Blind, I would choose Blind in the Eredivisie games because it doesn't matter. But Tagliafico is necessary in a Champions League match if you have fast players around you and you're playing against a 3-man forward. So yeah, very hard question. I'm not really. Yeah, you heard my. I think that's it. You have to see it based by match, and you can't
case by case.
decide
Yeah, case by case.
Yeah, case by case. Yeah.
Yeah. Sahbi, I know that you advocated earlier, as opposed to Ajax and Papimento, you actually see a role for Blind in the midfield position. So for you, it's not really, Blind has to play left back. Can you elaborate on that?
No. Of course, at first I stated indeed that Blind could be one of the midfielders, one of the 3 midfielders, but I mean the left back position suits him the best. If you look at it, I mean there's one thing: Martinez should never be, she should never get on the bench. He should always play. So that position, Blind should forget about it, in my opinion. If you look at midfield,
Blind or Ten Hag should forget about it.
Well, both.
All right.
Yeah, okay. But you never know what's going to happen in the season. I mean, if Martinez can play, you can always put Blind on that position.
No, of course. But I mean, the starting lineup. So I mean, if everybody's fit, that's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
In midfield, we also Alvarez is doing extremely a lot. He's taking out all the dirt. Basically, he is the one that makes Gravenberch play that good.
Exactly.
So okay, I agree with Ajax and with Papimento what they stated. Certainly during the big games, if you look at the left back position at this moment, I would choose Blind in favor of Tagliafico, and there's the 2 reasons. First one is what Papimento said, that daily Blind is a liability. At this moment, Nico is a liability as well. We all saw the way he plays like a madman in certain cases. Sometimes you need that poison, but in the last few months, you've seen that it's been a lot over the edge. He takes too much risks. So he needs to back off a bit. That's the first thing. Secondly, I think, and that's a thing that I see, I think he's a bit frustrated on the fact that no club is, at this moment, is really interested in him. So he's a bit frustrated, and I think that shows on the field. I mean, he literally said last year that he was in for a new challenge. This year, he said it again. Still no club came for him, even though Overmars said clubs can get him for a cut price. I mean, it should say something, huh? And I do agree with Papi, like in certain games, we need him. You need that power, that poison, that Argentinian mentality, especially if you have really fast right wingers. But in general, I would put Daly as left back, because you always have Martinez on his back who can always solve his problems.
Papimento, I saw you a couple of times. You wanted to react, so go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, look, I don't agree with this, because we all knew that against his conclusions are based on the Johan Cruyff Shield game. And that's where you saw frustration. But I was even frustrated that we're 2-0 down. So I understand that. And if he made that tackle right and he had the ball, everybody would be celebrating him. It's just because he got that red card that everybody is just, Nico is not playing his best. But he had enough of great games for us where he was super important. And one game doesn't make me forget all that, So Nico will have his worth for us, as Blind will have his worth. But who will you put on the bench? Yeah, I seriously don't know.
No, you have to look at the form. You have to look at the form at that moment. I mean, you said people only looked at the Johan Cruyff Cup that we played, but I mean, I still remember certain games at the end of the season where he gave such a weird tackles, penalties that he has given away to the opponent. You saw it in the Copa America as well. He's a bit like too wild at this moment, and he's not in form. We can be clear about that. He's not in form. Daily Blind is a bit more so. Yeah, he should play at this moment.
Look, if I say the following, I think both of you are right, if I just may give my own opinion. I think Sahbi is touching a point. I think last season was one of the worst seasons of Tagliafico at Ajax, because I mean, just a couple of highlights. He wasn't playing that good in the beginning, and he actually admitted in an interview that for him it was difficult after such a long break with the COVID to get back in rhythm. So that was one of the things that took a while for him to get used to the rhythm, to playing, because he said, I can only play well if I play a lot of matches, and I'm going into a certain rhythm, playing 2 games a week, etc., etc. So it took a while to get into that rhythm. And you also saw a couple of mistakes last year that was crucial for us. The own goal against Liverpool. Luckily for us, the mistake he made against Lille, that we just recuperated and we made it 2-1 at the end with Broby, the second goal. That was just an escape, a narrow escape from us. And then you also have now the red card, etc. I mean, I do agree with you, Papimento. I value Tagliafico a lot. I love him. I know what he can do on the left back position. But I do think that he needs to step up his game. I think he's last season, and that's what you also hear and read from our fans, is that did we miss out on selling him already? Because will he get better, yes or no? I mean, we have another player, we're not going to touch upon it right now, but also we're starting to question Neres. I mean, Neres is a bit different because he had some serious injuries, but now he has been a couple of months being able to play. But if you compare Neres now with Neres 2018, 2019, I mean, it's totally different.
Also a completely different team though. But okay, I do want to say this though. If you say Tagliafico is out of form last year, I totally agree with you. But you're basing he's out of form now, but he didn't do anything for preseason. He just came from Copa America. I mean, you can't judge if in the new season he's already out of form just because he had a red card against. Everybody was out of form in that game. Nobody had a decent preparation.
Yeah.
So for me, he still can have form when he comes back. So it's not one-on-one, there was a summer vacation, it's a new season, and he can still show us.
Yeah, but he didn't play well at the Copa America as well. I mean, it started from the beginning at the end of the season. So it's a couple of months already now, and he played a lot. He didn't have a lot of vacation. He didn't have a long holiday. So yeah, I do see him as playing as out of shape. He's out of form. Maybe he's not fit enough, but he needs to step up. As Juan said, it's no free tickets at Ajax. You'll have to show that you are able to play in the starting lineup. If not, there are other players, quality players, who can take over.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay, guys, we have to move on. Last question of the day. And before we start with that question, I also want to again repeat to our viewers, we really want your opinion. Let us know what you think, because there's a lot of discussion, as you can see. So we're curious to know what you think of these topics. And the last one is about the Champions League, basically. It's from weTalk and Produce and Cisco. Thank you for sending the questions. Are we better positioned as a team, this season to reach the knockout stages of the Champions League compared to last year? Sahbi, I will give that one to you first.
Very, very, very difficult question. If you look at the current team, the current setup of the team, it's going to be very difficult. It's going to be very difficult. First of all, we already know that we're going to get a very difficult group. I mean, we're in the third pot, and we've seen the first and second pot, extremely good teams. And even in the fourth pot, there are some certain teams that you want to avoid. So I think it's going to be more difficult than last year. And I can only say one thing: if we don't get a speedy attacker, one who has real depth, I don't think we're going to make it, because we are playing against very attacking-minded clubs. So ball possession won't be as we always have in the Eredivisie. We also during the game against NEC with 80% ball possession, etc. We won't have that.
But NEC is not comparable to Champions
League. No,
League.
Exactly. Yeah. So we don't. The ball possession will be way different, which means that we need to have a little bit of counter football, like recuperate the ball and attack directly. Yeah. To do that, we need speedy players. We have Anthony, but that's not sufficient. And if you look at
Kudus
comparison with Kudus indeed,
is
but if you
speedy, but if
he's
he's
speedy,
fit, yeah.
if he's fit indeed. But if you look at last season, we had Broby, we had some certain players which we don't have at this moment. The only difference is, of course, also is that Haller is playing. Last season, he was not. He was not able to play. He was not registered. He was not able to play.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't see Haller as a really big reinforcement again on Champions League level. So I think we lack a bit up front, to be honest.
Yeah. So basically, just let me get this straight. You're saying if we don't get anyone else, if this is the team we're heading into the season, it won't be enough to reach the next Champions League round.
That's what I'm saying.
All right. Papimento, do you agree with this?
Well, look, I'm gonna say this. I agree with the Haller thing. He didn't impress me yet. He's been here for 6 months, and the link-up play, the play of Ajax didn't get better with him there. He's also, if you see like the chances he missed against NEC, he's not the very clinical finisher. So I'm worried about our striker position. Am I as worried about the speed? A little bit, but not as much as Sahbi. Why? Because if you see the tactics of Ten Hag, the wingers really go inside. We have Mazraoui and Tagliafico that go over the wingers. So they come, you know, with the Berghuis, with the Tadic, you can shoot from far. You know, it doesn't really. You don't really have to have speedy players with that system. We're possession based. We're usually the better team, but it also all depends, Juan. What teams are you going to get? Because Paris Saint-Germain, Chelsea, those are hard teams to beat, and those are very counter-oriented teams that can really hurt us. But there are definitely some other teams that we can hurt, like we can win from. So yeah. I would say, you know, we're double positioned on every space on the field. And that's good. You know, we have backups for every position, and I think we can continue better than last year if you consider like our strikers, just Traore, Broby, very young at that age. We have Haller now that has a little bit more that physical, so that can help us. But as of now, as of how they're playing now, and especially like going through the PSV game, if they play a game like that in the Champions League, no, they won't continue against the in the group phase.
Yeah, yeah. Go ahead, Sahbi.
Well, actually, the first half against PSV was quite good, if I may say so. So if they play like that, I think we do have a chance. But
defensively, it wasn't good. But
no,
okay.
but defensively, the first minutes, indeed.
Yeah.
Look, but let me say one thing. What we do miss at this moment is depth. I mean, you have Berghuis. Berghuis wants the ball at his feet. You have Tadic who wants the ball at his feet. We got Haller who doesn't go deep. He wants the ball. He wants to receive the ball to tap in or to head in. We don't have a place who goes deep. Anthony is a player who does that. Neres normally, if he's in form, he does that. We miss that at the moment, and that's exactly what you need when you play Champions League football. You need to find space to go deep, and we miss that.
Yeah, we miss a little bit of dynamic players up front, you know, and I agree with you guys about what you're saying. But one of the advantage, I don't want to be negative a lot, because I think one of the things that might work in our favor compared to last season is especially our midfield and defensive line. I think we don't have to figure it out like last year. You know, we played with Scheurs. Don't forget. I'm not blaming Scheurs, but now we already have Timber and Martinez. It seems like this is already done. You know, Mazraoui on the right side. I hope he stays fit. I hope he extends his contract, of course. But also Alvarez now playing very different than last year around this time. So it seems like if you look at the midfield defensively and you look at the backline defensively, it looks better. The only thing that we might have, you know, like missed out on, or we're not that at that level, is we don't have Onana anymore, you know, and Stekelenburg I love him, but he's not Onana. You know, we have to be
No,
honest.
but
No.
he's experienced enough to get us through
Wow.
tough times. I do believe that. I mean,
No.
Sahbi does
Stekelenburg
too.
is not a bad keeper. He's not the level Onana. I agree with that, but he's not a bad keeper at all.
Okay,
And
so final question, because we have to cut it. So let me ask you this question. We're talking about Stekelenburg. Is he a Champions League level goalkeeper? Just yes or no?
No.
yes.